Over 100,000 tons of glass are produced every day across the planet. The United States alone consumes millions of tons per year. To supply this enormous demand, millions of tons of sand must be processed. But how is this fine powder transformed into one of the most widely used materials in the world? In this video, we'll discover how glass is made. Glass is produced by melting silica sand. Modern civilization could not live without it. This marvel of engineering is everywhere. It is an essential part of buildings, cars, and smartphones. Although it looks fragile, glass can be surprisingly strong. When reinforced, it can withstand extremely high temperatures and pressures, and even violent impacts. Thanks to its incredible resistance, glass is one of the most used materials in civil construction. However, it was only around the year 3000 BC that glass was discovered, and it happened accidentally. The ancient Egyptians created glass by heating silica sand together with sodium carbonate near fire. This mixture accidentally produced a glassy substance. At first, glass was used mainly as ornament, in the form of jewelry and small amulets. But by the end of the 19th century, glassmakers created a luminous, spectacular, and translucent type of glass. At that time, glass production was a complicated and expensive process. It was made in large furnaces and poured over flat surfaces. But the process was slow, inefficient, and produced many imperfections. Everything changed in 1959, when Alistair Pilkington invented the float glass process. This system allowed the continuous production of flat glass by letting molten glass float over a layer of liquid tin. Thanks to this innovation, it became possible to produce perfectly smooth, transparent glass on a large scale and at low cost. But how is silica sand obtained? This fine powder is one of Earth's most abundant resources, but not all sand is suitable for silica extraction. In some places, like in the large mines of Brazil, deposits are found in hard rock veins several hundred meters underground. The only way to extract it is with trucks loaded with explosives. The team drills about 11 meters deep to place the explosive charges into the rock. The main compound used is ammonium nitrate mixed with fuel, a powerful yet easy-to-handle substance. Each 60 kilograms charge is paired with about 2.5 kilograms of a high-power explosive. When everything is ready, the blast specialist gives the order. After the explosion, the sandstone is released. As soon as the dust settles, operators move in with excavators and haul trucks. In no time, they can extract thousands of tons of the mineral. The material is then transported to the processing plant, where silica sand will be refined for industrial use. This is where purification begins. The powder contains impurities like clays and organic materials that must be removed. To do this, the sand is placed in large washing tanks, where it is mixed with hot water to separate unwanted particles. After this initial washing, the sand goes through a drying process in large dryers. The dust is subjected to high temperatures to eliminate moisture and any remaining impurities. Once dry, the sand is packed into 1-ton bags and sent to the glass factory. This is the largest glass factory in the United States, which receives over 5,000 tons of silica sand every week. Here, the essential ingredients of glass are stored. Every day, more than 700 metric tons enter the process. Along with the sand, sodium bicarbonate and calcium carbonate are mixed in. These components alter the structure of the silica sand, lower its melting point, and allow the mixture to melt more easily. Calcium carbonate is also used to improve the strength of the glass. One magical ingredient is added leftovers from previous batches. The incorporation of recycled glass speeds up the melting process. Pigments are added to give color to the glass. In this case, cobalt oxide is responsible for the characteristic blue tint of certain types of glass. Once all the ingredients are ready, they are poured into a double-chamber mixer. Inside the machine, the materials flow from one end to the other, ensuring a uniform mixture. When perfectly blended, the mixture is placed into a giant gas-powered furnace, where the temperature reaches an impressive 1,650 degrees Celsius, hotter than lava. With the glass melted, the furnace operator takes control, carefully inserting the mixture into one of the crucibles. Once everything is in place, the crucible mouth is sealed to maintain absolute control over the temperature and melting process. Inside the plant, operators wear fireproof suits and gloves. Since the heat is extreme and the work is intense, as the molten mixture is cooked at such high temperatures, every movement must be precise to guarantee the glass quality. Workers use metal rakes to remove the molten mixture. The goal is to eliminate air bubbles that form during melting. Although they may look small, these bubbles are dangerous, as they can completely compromise the transparency and strength of the final product. After 24 hours, the mixture turns into a lava-like substance glowing at the bottom of the furnaces. The liquid glass is a viscous mass that has reached the ideal temperature and consistency. In the following hours, the glass remains molten, allowing any remaining gases to be released, ensuring the purest possible material. The 12 crucibles of the furnace have the capacity to hold different colors of molten glass. Each crucible can handle up to 270 kilograms of liquid glass, which allows a wide variety of products and colors. When the team is ready, they must act quickly. Workers extract the bright molten glass from the crucibles. They only have a few seconds to act and move the material to the mixing table. The glass is kept in constant motion to avoid uneven cooling, which would affect its quality. The process is so precise and fast that any delay can result in defects such as cold spots or imperfections. It's important to cool the ladles between each use. Otherwise, the next batch will stick. These metal ladles vary in size and can hold between 2 and 18 kilograms of molten glass. To create a single color, sometimes up to 5 different ladles are poured at the same time. Here is where true artistry begins. The mixing table is where the magic happens. The worker takes a glowing mess and skillfully mixes it using a steel fork. It takes years of experience and a good eye. A poorly made mixture results in dull colors. The key is the right combination. Below. The molten glass is placed into a machine with rollers that flatten it evenly as it passes between them. These specialized rollers apply the necessary pressure to stretch and flatten the glass into a thin, uniform sheet. The worker carefully separates the sheet from the table, ensuring that any air bubbles trapped during stretching are eliminated. The result is a perfect glass sheet. Next, it is placed into a reciprocal furnace, where it hardens and gradually cools to prevent cracking. The glass is now strong enough to be cut. Once cooled, the sheet goes to the cutting room, where it is trimmed to the required size. Workers, protected with special clothing and gloves, handle the still hot and sharp edges. Each crucible produces about 25 sheets in 24 hours, which equals roughly 300 sheets per furnace per day. Cutting the sheets. It is a delicate task that requires 2 people working in coordination, with an ultra-resistant tungsten carbide-tipped cutter. Workers score the surface of the glass and then separate the pieces, producing standard sheets of 81 by 81 centimeters. The scraps are set aside to be remelted in future batches. The finished sheets are packed in wooden crates and are ready to be shipped worldwide. Did you enjoy the video? Then like and share it with others who might also be interested. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications to keep learning more.